So since I've been working on the 3D version of Oldsmobiles Laser Guns issue 3, I thought maybe I would do a video on how I do it for other people that are interested in doing this for their own comics, or maybe you just want to see how I did this. Since I'm not using AI, I have to go through every page and do this myself. First thing that I do is when I go to the pages, I have to figure out what is on which level, like what's closer to you, foreground, midground, background. When I draw, generally foreground for me, I'm just drawing whatever is important. I'm not thinking about this in the means of what needs to be closer to the camera, since it's all drawn by hand. But now that I've gone through with the 3D editing, I really wish I'd done this a little bit better. So here, what I was doing is I'm going through all the different dialogue, because this particular page is really cool, and it's where Nathan is completely tripping out as his personal protection suit is administering a whole bunch of drugs to him because he's in agonizing and excruciating pain. So I combined all of the text that is normal together, and then I combined all the cartoony text that's together. Right here I'm going through the effects, the jets that are blasting to the back of the Oldsmobile, and I merged those together to being one channel. Since they don't really need to be in their own channel, they will need to be with the foreground, but I need them separate for now, just because as I go into the cross-hatching that's in there, that it all has to be kind of separate. So I want that channel, or those particular images separate. Now I'm going through the foreground, midground, and background, and I'm looking just at what's in there, and I'm trying to figure out, hey, does this really belong? And as you can see in the middle left panel, this is what I'm interested in. There's Nathan's head, and then there's Nathan's arm reaching out, and I figure, no, those probably need to be in separate channels, because the head's obviously closer. So I'm zooming into here after I merge it down, and I'm cutting the arm out in one version of the frame. I doubled up the picture after I merged them, and then I just removed the arm from one, and it made it nothing but the arm in the other. And then I put that all into the midground. The other thing I noticed is the background on the bottom right-hand corner. That can go into the background instead. The background is in the midground. Oh, my apologies. What I noticed here was the engine. The engine needs to be up in the foreground, but that's in the midground. I took out all the text to make things a little bit easier on the eyes in doing that. And I know there's about a bajillion different ways. They're probably way faster to actually select the engine. And I decided to do it one of the less fast ways, which I'm more comfortable with. But also, when I'm doing this, I'm blasting music. So I would rather it take more time, because I enjoy just sitting and relaxing. It's not that I'm doing this to try and go as fast as possible, but try and capture as much of the black line as you can. I'm black and white with my comic, so really I'm just trying to do as good of a job at capturing all those lines. And my plan is to pull this out from the midground and put it into the foreground instead. And then you get more of a pop with the engine when you're looking at it. But also, I have to go back, and then I like to fill in the midground where the car would be without the engine. So here you can see I'm just doubling it up. I'm making another layer, getting rid of all of the background in the one, and then getting rid of the engine in the other, where I fill it in completely, as though that's just the shadow, and that's what kind of was left over. And then there we go. Now the engine's on the next layer up with the rest of the foreground images. And then what you got here, this is where I realized that the this was in the midground originally, but since I'm throwing the arm in the midground, I want that to just kind of stand out and pop a little bit. So I pulled that out, just doubled over the layer, and then cut out that image, threw that into the background. So now you can see you're going through, you're finding out, okay, what's in the midground, what's in the foreground, what's in the background, and that's really the foundation what you need to do. Here's the other mistake I saw. This was in the foreground. Clearly that belongs in the background. Oh no, sorry, it was in the midground. So yeah, I threw that little guy in the background, make sure everything is, that's supposed to be in front of it is in front of it, and what's supposed to be behind it is behind it. And then you take all of the layers that are in each section and merge them together. Then of course I'd go through that and I'd take out all the cross hatching, and I used duotone. It's a scan of the original duotone cross hatching, the stuff that was used in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Just a little tidbit, and I use that, and I just kind of like that little retro callback, and I get to say, oh yeah, I use duotone because I'm so cool. But yeah, I'll just erase any of the duotone that does not belong on those layers, and now we got it all done up. So now the foreground, midground, background are all just a single image, single layer, and then similarly with the dialogue, that's all one layer for the cartoony stuff, one layer for the regular stuff, and one layer for the bubbles. Then I go to all those images and I double them. So I make a duplicate of them. They're the same. And then what we're going to do here on the screen is once they all have their own duplicate, I go in and the first copy, the top, I remove the green and blue, and on the bottom copy I remove the red. So we got one that's going to be blue, one that's going to be red in color, similar to your retro glasses. Then the top one, go with the movement tool, and first I usually start with the background and I move that just slightly, so maybe about 2 or 3 to the left for the top one, the bottom one maybe 1 or 2 to the right. And then as I go up to the midground, I'll do maybe 4 or 5 to the left and 2 or 3 to the right. And then for the midground, then the foreground, I'll go even higher, more. And then the more you want things closer, the further apart you want these two different layers. What I noticed when I started doing this dialogue here was that some of the dialogue looked actually better if it would have been different distances. So I went back in and I made the cartoony dialogue 2 different layers. And then all the small dialogue, I just made that just a little bit less. And then the bigger dialogue, whoa, I can see what we're saying. That one I pulled it apart really far. If you actually have some retro 3D glasses, throw them on right now and you could see what I was doing there. But here you see, I realized that separating them just a little bit there was going to look way, way better, because then it also gives us more depth. And the more layers that you have that you're doing this that are different, the more you're going to see just how cool this can really be. So once I did that, I just, created a couple extra ones. At first I thought I was going to do maybe something with the heart, but I realized that was completely and total fiddle, and it just was not turning out the way I kind of was hoping for, expecting it to. So ended up just scrapping that one, and I should just taken out this whole section of the video, shouldn't I? Still have the option to, but I'm being lazy. This process is not. It gets easier. The first couple times you do it, it is terrible. This one, even though this looked pretty, like I went into doing a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, this video is 350% speed, so it did take me over a half hour to do this page, but the very first one I did was a couple hours just learning how to do it all. And then this page, even though I did have to move things around, this is considered an ideal, good, easy page. It was not very difficult whatsoever to change things around. You could be faced with sometimes you'll be doing this where it's all over the map and it could take you hours. The page I did before this one was an absolute nightmare, but this is pretty good, and hopefully this can help you with doing the things you like to do.